baby, don't cry.
This boy, Luke, is bullied by a group of thugs. What they don't know is that Luke's brother, David, a recently retired Special Forces soldier, is watching over him. When David finds out what has been happening, he asks Luke to point out those responsible. Determined to teach them a lesson, David takes Luke to follow the bullies to a bar. David calls the waiter and orders a fireball cocktail loaded with chili peppers. Then, for each of the bullies' girlfriends, he also orders a drink. Sensing the provocation, one of the bullies approaches furiously.
I don't want it though. You can have it.
Takes one of the drinks and throws it in David's face. David simply smiles and returns the favor with the burning cocktail. When it comes to those who hurt his little brother, David does not hold back. Each of them receives a heavy blow.
For the damages.
After leaving cash to cover the damages, he walks out with Luke. But no one knows that David is not actually Luke's brother. He is the former comrade of Luke's real brother. Tragedy struck Luke's family hard 2 weeks ago. His brother died in combat. Following the loss of their eldest son, Caleb, in the war, the Peterson family, Spencer, his wife Laura, and their 2 children, Luke and Anna, struggles to move forward. One morning, Laura is seen overcome with grief after Spencer and Luke leave the house. Suddenly, a seemingly polite and calm man arrives at her door. Laura is bewildered when he addresses her by name, appearing to know who she is.
I knew your son, Caleb. We trained together, served together, and...
The man introduces himself as David Collins, a former U.S. Army sergeant, and claims he was Caleb's best friend during their service. Laura then invites David into her home and offers him a drink, though a sense of suspicion still lingers in her mind. He continues to explain that he spent several months recovering in a military hospital due to a wound and came directly after being discharged.
You and your whole family here. He wanted me to tell you that he loved you, and he was thinking of you guys up until the end. I said I'd do that, and so here I am.
Overwhelmed by sadness, Laura excuses herself to the bathroom, where she sobs uncontrollably. Upon returning to the living room, David shows her a photo of Caleb's deployment. Laura's previous doubts instantly vanish. Noticing the expression of sadness on Laura's face, David quickly puts on an apologetic facade and pretends to leave.
It wasn't my intention to upset you, ma'am. I probably should have called first, but I don't own a cell phone yet, and now, but I'd like it if we could exchange emails.
Wait, no!
However, Laura convinces him to stay, insisting that Anna would want to meet him. Warm and respectful, David quickly earns Laura's trust, though Anna remains cautious. Upon learning of his plans to stay at a local motel, Laura offers David a room in her house for as long as he needs. In fact, she tells him he can stay in Caleb's old room. They insist. After Anna leaves for work, Laura shows David his guest room. She assures him she doesn't mind him using Caleb's room and leaves him to settle in. As soon as she leaves, David is seen with an indecipherable expression. Meanwhile, Luke is bullied by thugs at school, but doesn't have the courage to fight back. He adopts an indifferent attitude when Laura picks him up from school, acting as if nothing happened.
How was your day?
It was good.
Great.
As David settles in, he quickly becomes involved in the Petersons' lives. Back at home, Luke gets to know David better, while Spencer is heard arguing with Laura for letting a supposed stranger into their home. Spencer worries that the soldier's friendly behavior hides a dark and unstable side, common in veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Meanwhile, David notices the bruises on Luke's face caused by the bullies, but the latter casually downplays it.
Yeah, I got hit with a football in gym class.
After a brief exchange with David, Spencer leaves in a rage, and Laura urges Luke to do his homework. David praises Luke for his intellect while helping the boy with his task, making him feel flattered. Shortly after, Anna returns home from work, but remains cold toward David. On the other hand, Spencer's attitude toward their guest has clearly changed for the better. Late at night, the duo shares a deep conversation while drinking beer and watching a football game. As Spencer unwittingly opens his heart to David, the latter learns that Spencer is facing financial and work stress. Spencer is dissatisfied because his young colleague, who has been with the company for only a short time, was promoted to regional manager in his place just for not having a university degree. Laura's concerns about their finances further aggravate the situation. When David reveals his plan to travel to Florida for construction work, Spencer immediately objects and asks him to extend his stay with them.
Where you're going, stay here for a couple more days.
No, like that.
By then, Spencer has already started to grow fond of David. While the older man goes for another beer, the expression on David's face darkens. It wasn't long before David became a supporting figure in the family. He even goes to pick Luke up from school on Laura's behalf, and resolves his big bullying problem, earning Luke's absolute trust. On the other hand, David's bond with Anna is more complicated. That night, Laura forces Anna to take David with her to a Halloween party. While getting ready for the party, Anna assumes Luke is occupying the bathroom and urges him to come out, only to find herself face to face with a half-naked David. Stunned by his perfect physique, she stammers, blushing uncontrollably. Although reluctant, Anna takes David to the party, hosted by her friend Kristen. When she reveals to him that she has a boyfriend, Zeke, he promises to keep it a secret.
I won't say anything. It's none of my business.
David quickly impresses her friends with his good looks. While Anna slips away with Zeke, Anna's friend Kristen is approached by her aggressive ex-boyfriend, Drew. David intervenes and protects her by giving Drew a beating.
Get him out of here.
Impressed by him, Kristen later sleeps with David, unaware of his dark side. During the party, David also asks about buying firearms from Anna's friend, Craig. When asked why he needs them, he notices that Anna and Zeke are in the middle of a fight. Evidently in a bad mood, Anna decides to leave early, and David takes the initiative to drive. On the way home, Anna expresses her frustration over her boyfriend Zeke's lack of ambition, while she has been saving for college. David flatters her, saying he wouldn't have gone to war if he had a girl like her. Moved, she offers to burn him a mix CD when he shows interest in a song on the radio. Upon returning home, Anna immerses herself in the music and her thoughts while creating the CD for David as promised. Unknown to her, the man is sitting motionless in his room with a somber, almost terrifying look. That same day, Anna accidentally overhears David having an intense phone conversation with an unknown caller using Luke's phone. He seems to be demanding a new face from someone suspected to be a plastic surgeon.
As soon as possible. I'm off the grid for now, but there are people trying to look for me.
Anna contacts the military base to get more information and verify his identity. This call triggers an alert at a private military contractor called KPG. It turns out that David is the test subject of certain military records. Major Richard Carver, the project leader, assembles a special forces team upon learning that David is with the Petersons and heads to their location. Shortly after, David meets with Craig and his partner to buy weapons. After confirming that David brought cash, Craig's partner enthusiastically presents the weapons he brought. David then declares that he will take all the items, which delights the other two.
Well, I'll take them all.
Shit.
However, the good news didn't last long for them.
I'll cut you a deal. You can take them all off my hands.
No, I'm going to kill you.
Hey.
Without blinking, David murders both men with a pistol before stealing their guns and grenades. Meanwhile, Anna receives updates from the military base about David and tries to tell Laura, but is interrupted by Spencer's return. It comes to light that Spencer's boss and his girlfriend have died under mysterious circumstances.
They found him and his girlfriend dead. They'd both taken a bunch of prescription pills. It was like they committed suicide together or something.
Ironically, this supposed tragedy paved the way for Spencer's sudden promotion and pay raise. Soon, Anna receives bad news through a call from Zeke, who tells her that Craig has been murdered. Overwhelmed by shock, Anna heads to the restaurant where Kristen works to seek comfort. Back at home, David and Luke sit on the porch carving pumpkins for Halloween. David finds that his kitchen knife is dull and pulls out his own Swiss Army knife, cutting the pumpkin in one swift motion.
Do you carry that with you, like, all the time?
Oh, this thing? Sure.
In the restaurant, Anna shares with Kristen the shocking information she received from the army. David Collins is supposed to have died a week ago.
They told me that David Collins died a week ago.
His death was caused by a fire at a military hospital in Arizona. These disturbing coincidences increase Anna's suspicions, and Kristen suggests she ask Luke to look up the numbers David has called on his burner phone. With the pumpkins carved, David and Luke go back inside. The former encourages Luke to defend himself against the bullies by bringing a knife to school. He then gives Luke a Swiss Army knife as a gift. At that moment, Anna returns home, pretending nothing is wrong and starting a casual conversation. As she passes by them, Anna discreetly takes David's phone when they aren't looking and quickly retreats to her room. She then turns up the music and takes a photo of the numbers in the call history. At that instant, David's phone rings abruptly, sending Anna into a state of panic. Not wanting to be caught, she quickly throws the phone onto the bed in David's room before running back to her own room. Almost immediately, David appears in the hallway with a somber expression. Following the subtle ringing of the phone, he marches to his room and picks it up as deep suspicion arises within him. David prowls outside Anna's room, trying to listen, but all he hears is the loud music through the door. Holding her breath behind the door the entire time, Anna only lowers her guard when he finally retreats. Shortly after, she receives a call from Zeke, who is being held by the authorities. It turns out he is convicted of killing Craig and his partner, as the weapon used in the murder was found in his truck.
But you're innocent. They found the gun that killed Craig in your van.
Filled with despair, Anna feels the world around her collapsing, and it all began with David's appearance. Anna confides in her family, and although her mother shares her grief, Spencer is particularly dismissive.
You want to know why Zeke was arrested for murder? He probably did it, that's why.
He already disapproved of Zeke from the start, which is why she kept their relationship a secret. As the fight between father and daughter intensifies, Anna reveals what she discovered about David through the army. Nonetheless, the man calmly justifies her suspicions. He explains that he belonged to a special forces unit and that the army gave him a cover story for civilians. He pulls out his military dog tags to prove his identity. Convinced by David's words, Spencer becomes enraged by Anna's accusations and demands that she apologize to him.
You owe him an apology
No
now,
fucking
I think.
way.
You watch your mouth, young lady.
In a fit of rage, Anna insults her father and storms off to her room. Feigning innocence, David continues explaining the misunderstanding to the Peterson couple. While Anna reflects, she is interrupted by David's sudden appearance. Bewildered, she freezes in terror, expecting hostile behavior from him. At first, David starts gently.
How sorry I am about Craig.
He promises to move out of the house in a few days, hinting to Anna to stop poking her nose into his business. His intense eyes lock on Anna until she finally agrees. As he leaves, David's attention is caught by the mix CD Anna made for him. As if nothing happened, he puts on a superficial, cheerful facade.
I can't wait to listen to it.
Meanwhile, Richard heads to the airport while assembling a team for his mission to capture David. As Anna digs further, she discovers through a reverse directory that David had been calling a plastic surgeon in Miami named Peter Boddington, whose license was revoked 2 years ago. She asks Luke for help to find out more information about David.
You really think David killed Craig and that other guy?
Although Luke still has reservations about Anna's suspicions, he agrees to help her anyway. When Luke is attacked again at school, he defends himself by hitting the bully in the face and striking him with a yardstick. After both are sent to the principal's office, David arrives with Laura to speak with him. David is glad to find that Luke followed his advice and defended himself when he was bullied. Due to the school's policy against violence, the principal decides to expel Luke.
A gay student targeted with physical violence finally defends himself. And you're, what? Suspending him?
Using his wit and knowledge of the law, David blackmails the school principal into being lenient with Luke, forcing him to give him only a month of detention. Feeling indebted, Luke tells David about Anna's suspicions and her plans to report him to the authorities.
So maybe you don't want people to know who you are.
At first, David casually downplays it, but when Luke reveals he knows David is impersonating the real Collins with the help of the plastic surgeon, his expression instantly turns somber. Nonetheless, Luke promises not to investigate further or tell anyone else.
I'm not going to tell anyone about it.
David also discovers that Anna has told Kristen about him. While David helps Laura with the laundry, she expresses her sincere gratitude for his help and support of the family.
I'm really grateful. I don't mean just for today, I mean everything.
David responds with slight unease and goes to get the rest of the clothes. The truth comes out in a violent confrontation when Richard and his team arrive at the Petersons' house. Before Richard has a chance to explain the situation to Laura, David reappears with the clothes and both sides immediately engage in an intense shootout. With a wounded leg, David tries to escape but runs into Laura in the kitchen. When she questions his true identity, he reveals that he and Caleb were in the same program. Hiding the knife in his hand, David has doubts about killing Laura. However, she reveals his location without warning, causing David to stab her in the chest with the kitchen knife. By then, David has slaughtered all the team members except Richard. While fleeing by car, he runs into Spencer.
I'm really sorry about this, sir.
Wounded during the confrontation, David continues his mission to eliminate all loose ends. With his car tires slashed, Richard borrows a civilian's car to pick up Anna at the restaurant. Shortly after their departure, David arrives at the same place looking for Anna, but without success. Frustrated, he proceeds to kill Kristen by shooting her in the chest and blows up the restaurant with grenades. After receiving a call, Richard decides to go find Luke. He reveals that David was a participant in a top-secret military medical program, an advanced behavioral conditioning program designed to create perfect soldiers. David escaped after burning down the testing facilities, killing everyone inside and leaving charred, unidentifiable bodies so the world would believe he was dead. In the school recreation center, Luke is serving his after-school detention by helping with prom preparations. He is about to answer Anna's call when the teacher warns him not to use phones during detention and confiscates it. On the way to the recreation center, Anna and Richard notice police cars and fire trucks going in the opposite direction. Only then does Richard tell her about the incident at the restaurant. An ominous feeling arises in Anna. Richard continues explaining David's neurological conditioning that protects both him and the experiment. When the experiment failed, David became a programmed killer, eliminating anyone who could compromise his identity. He is unlikely to stop himself even if he wanted to. Soon, Anna and Richard arrive at the school, where a Halloween dance is being held inside a haunted house setup. As soon as they reach Luke, David announces his presence by cutting the power. He then plays Anna's mixed CD over the speakers as his final massacre begins. Amid the confusion and flashing lights, David kills Luke's teacher and Richard with a box cutter. At first, Luke refuses to believe David is as sinister as Anna claims, even suggesting they go talk to him.
What's going on? But David wouldn't hurt us.
However, his assumptions about David are shattered when she tells him about their parents' death.
He killed Mom and Dad.
After making sure Luke is well hidden, Anna goes out on her own to find David. Now showing his true face, David searches for Luke to kill him.
Come on out, buddy.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Just when Luke thinks he's about to be caught, David is distracted by a distant noise. He follows a blood trail from the spot where Richard's gun had been and finds Anna standing behind him.
You killed my parents.
Eager to avenge her parents, she fires the gun at David, who falls to the ground. Assuming she finished him for good, Anna lowers her guard, only to be stabbed in the leg by David in a surprise attack. She tries to shoot him, but the gun fails and causes a fire. David then proceeds to strangle her. In a final act of bravery, Luke intervenes and stabs David with the knife David had given him, freeing Anna. Wounded, David tells Luke he did the right thing.
You did the right thing.
And he gives a thumbs up before collapsing to the ground. In the end, Anna and Luke sit outside in an ambulance, bloody and in a state of shock.